absolutely kind of ripe for life. And the ripeness for life is actually known as a fine-tuning argument.
What?
It's known as a fine-tuning argument, which is an argument put forward to prove the existence of God. In fact, even if you look at certain things and how they are, for example, the distance of the moon and Earth. They're saying the moon is 400 times
further than the sun.
Yeah.
That's why it looks the same size.
Exactly. But then somebody might go, oh, you know what? That's not really that amazing. But if you look at how many moons there are in our solar system,
It's loads,
exactly, and only one has a direct fit. That's ours. And it starts off like that. But then if you go further, you're like, even the distance of the Earth and the Sun. It's actually within 2%. If it was 2% away from the Sun, we'd all freeze. If it was 2% closer to the Sun, we'd all burn.
That is one of my favourite points. If it was too close or too far, it wouldn't exist. And that's what makes me think that there is a possibility we are the only ones. All them stars. So what do you believe? Do you believe there's other stuff on other planets? Or not?
I believe there is an independent creator that's separate from the creation. So you got creation, which is dependent, and you got the creator, which is independent. For example, sorry, what's your name? Liam. So Liam, even if we just look around, as a child, if you were to look around, all right, how did that what do you call that chair? Is that a beach chair? Beach chair. If you see that beach chair, no one goes, wow. Because like, it's amazing, isn't it? No, it came by itself. I'm just amazed at how it came by itself. Like, what? I don't understand. How did it come by itself? Over.
Sorry. Can we go a little bit, because this one will start to shout. A little bit there.
So an independent creator that the creation depends on. So I was giving the example of that beach chair. If you look at that beach chair, or you look at these cameras, or you look at that bicycle, I'm like, that's a sick bicycle. How many millions of years did it take for that to randomly come together? You're like, you mad? What do you mean millions of years? I got it from the shop. Oh, so that shop took millions of years to come. No, the shop got made by a architect, and a builder. What do?
I'm a mechanic.
Mechanic, So even as a mechanic, you can appreciate the intricacies in which, like for vehicles, that is designed. You see a car, you're like, wow, just look at. Sometimes people that appreciate cars, the sound of the exhaust can be, pardon my French.
Microphones.
These are microphones. All microphones. It actually sounds orgasmic. Somebody who loves cars. When you sound, it's like this. Oh my word, that sounds sick. How many horsepower is that? To someone like me, it would be like horsepower. No, there's no horses. It's a car, isn't it? You're like, nah, you don't understand, man. Don't understand. I'm like, it's just car, man. What is it? Nah, you don't appreciate that. But speaking to a mechanic, you know the parts that are needed to make that car function. And just because you know how a car functions, does it now mean that the car didn't have a creator? So that's what people do with evolution. They're like, there's evolution. It's like, okay, there's evolution, but does that mean that there's no creator? Just because you're explaining something, does it mean there's no creator? You're like, okay, fair enough. I get what you're trying to say. So I guess, Liam, my argument starts at the very basics. I'm going to give you a syllogism, which is, syllogism is a logical argument, which is you give A, then you give B. If A and B are accepted, then C results. For example, anyone with a Fanta can is aggressive. Liam has a Fanta can. Therefore, it follows that Liam is aggressive. It's not a very good one. It looks like somebody
I'm
else.
not
was-
really aggressive.
I should have used another one, maybe a teddy bear. So, okay, so there were certain philosophers, Liam. They would ask these questions, and some would say God, no God, this, that. All right, cool, no problem. What's the one thing that no one can deny, no matter how skeptical you are? I'm skeptical when my mum is my mother. I'm skeptical if we're even living on this planet. I'm skeptical as to if we're living in a matrix, mate, or I'm living in a dream world. All right, no problem. The one thing, Liam, that everybody has to accept: existence. Do you exist? Do I exist? Is that, yeah, I have to exist. Because if I don't exist, I can't question, I can't experience. Like, there has to be existence, yeah? There's a very famous philosopher called Descartes. There's a very famous saying that he says, it's called, I think, therefore I am. And then Nietzsche came and said, I think, therefore I am. Not having any of that, mate. How can you presuppose I? And then you had Avicenna, who said, okay, but existence is something that you can agree with, yeah? So you got no issue with existence, yeah? We exist, you exist.
If you didn't exist, then well,
Exactly. See this bottle, yeah? I'm holding it up. I can hold this up for 5 minutes and it's not going to explode. 3 minutes, it's not going to explode. 10 minutes, it's not going to explode. My question, Liam, is why is this not going to explode or randomly start floating away? Because we agree that the laws of science are uniform, stable, and regular. In other words, for you, you got a Fanta can, you're going to drink Fanta, it's going to stay in your hand. You're not going to explode, the Fanta's not going to explode. When you're crossing the road, you know you're not randomly going to start flying. So you trust the laws of nature enough to know that they're stable, innit? You got a bike here, yeah? You're not wearing a helmet because you know you trust your ability and there's not going to be a random hole that pops up. It's going to suck you in to the never-ending abyss of the earth. Yeah, you know you're going to go home, your TV's still going to be there, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, hopefully. Unless if it's burnt down. But even burning down, you have to acknowledge that the laws of nature apply to fire as well. I can't set you on fire and be like, okay, I'm going to hope that I don't burn. No one's going to do that. They know fire burns. So number one, there is existence, yeah? Number two, the laws of nature are uniform, regular, and stable. Therefore, it follows that there is an existence that explains the uniformity, regularity, and stability of life. You see? So that then brings us to the next point. We accept there's an existence that is responsible for us and nature, because these are two things we can't deny. All right, cool. Let's talk about this existence now. All right, brilliant. So there's three types of existences, yeah? So one existence is something that's impossible, like a squared circle. You can't have a squared circle, innit? The other thing is something which is dependent. Yeah, for example, you, or let's just say your internet browser. You know when you go on the computer, you go on internet, you go on Google Chrome, innit? Google Chrome is dependent on your software, which is Microsoft. You got a Mac at home or a Microsoft?
I ain't got enough of that. I've got my phone, that's enough computer for me.
All right, brilliant. So on your phone, what's your favorite app?
Facebook.
Facebook, yeah? So Facebook relies on the internet.
Yeah.
The internet relies on Wi-Fi, yeah? And then your phone relies on electricity. Electricity relies on fossil fuels. Fossil fuels relies on miners and so on and so forth, yeah? So these are things, Liam, that are dependent, yeah? Brilliant. Then you got a third type of existence, which is independent. Yeah, that thing doesn't cease, that thing can't cease to exist, and it's not made from parts. Like this bottle, it's got the main body, it's got this, it's got that, it's got parts. Something which is independent is not made from parts. So then, Liam, I've told you three types of existences. Something that can't exist, something which is dependent, That's you. You're made from parts. They can be rearranged, and you can die. You can cease to
That
exist.
one, you can
Exactly. And thirdly, an independent existence that is not made from parts, that can't be any other way, and that can't cease to exist. You're like, all right, cool. Then my question to you, Liam, is this universe. What type of existence is this universe? Is it something that can't exist, something dependent, or something independent? Dependent, yeah? Brilliant. So that then follows, isn't it? The universe, or you're dependent on something else. That is dependent on something else. That depends on something else. So eventually, to start it off, you need someone that is... Do you see how it follows, yeah? Let me give you another example. Because I can see on your face, you're like, give me more.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of such as saying there has to... I know you're saying there's a start of everything. I know you're trying to get at.
Let me give you a logical example. You've seen Grease, yeah? The movie Grease. Right, you haven't. There's a song in there saying, tell me more, yeah? Right, that's fine. So here, let's just say I want to chuck this bottle at someone. Yeah? I don't know why, but I just get these bouts sometimes where I have to dash a bottle at someone's head. Now, the only way I get to do this is by getting permission. So I ask your permission. Yeah, Liam, can I chuck this at that grey-haired guy's head? And you go, no, let me ask that sister. Yeah? And then she has to ask her husband. Yeah? The husband has to ask this brother. This brother has to ask this handsome brother. Yeah? This handsome brother has to ask this brother that's pointing in random directions. If it keeps going on, Liam, that
It's never going to happen.
it's never going to happen. But the fact that you're here, Liam, shows that something had to have happened somewhere down the line. Do you see?
There has to be a beginning to everything.
Exactly. Aristotle called it the prime mover. We say, if there's three types of existences, and you say that the universe is dependent, there has to be a start for us to be here. Otherwise, I'm never going to get a chance to dash the bottle.
So right, so give me an example of something that's independent.
Yeah. So something which is independent is 2 plus 2. 2 plus 2 can't be any other way. You could be asleep, you could be dreaming, the world could be plunged into another ice age, all the books could be destroyed, but 2 plus 2 will always be 4. It cannot be any other way, and it's not dependent on anything else.
You lost me there.
So let's just say 2 plus 2, yeah?
Yeah.
Can 2 plus 2 give me any other answer other than 4?
No, but then how can 3 plus 5 be any other answer?
Exactly, that's my point. That mathematics is independent.
Oh right, yeah.
You can ask me as an example. That's an example. Yeah. So it's composed of So it can't be any other way. So that's an example. Now the thing here is, we start asking that. Okay. So you're saying, all right, cool. You're now going towards deism. That all right. There's some creator, but how do we know it's God though? Yeah. All right. Cool. Now, if this existence was part of this universe is subject to the laws of nature, isn't it? Time, space, etc. But then, if God was inside the universe, that means God is bound by time. He's limited by space. Yeah? Do you think an all-powerful, all-intelligent being would be restricted by time and space? He's going to grow old and die. Like sometimes Christians...
Everything has a beginning and an end.
Exactly. But if it's created,
there's nothing. There's nothing. In mind, nothing can be eternal. How can there be an eternal? Everything is. Like you said, everything's restricted by time. So there's a timeline for everything. There has to be a beginning.
Okay, brilliant. So you're saying, now think about this, Liam. Time. When did time start? Okay. Big Bang, isn't it? That's where they say time started.
Yeah, that's what they say time started. Yeah, but
Exactly.
then what was before? What was before that?
Exactly. This is where we're saying it's the independent prime mover that started it. That's not linked to time or space. He is outside time and space. If you're saying that it started at the Big Bang, yeah, and you're saying something must have started it, otherwise how would it come by existence? Because the other thing, Liam, would be it just happened by itself. So you got all these planets and this fine-tuning the 2% distance of the Earth and the Sun, the Goldilocks zone, as they say. It happened by itself, mate. Yeah, but who started it? It just happened by itself. Yeah, but who?
I don't think you can put a who.
All right, what?
You can't put a who. Yeah.
Well, what is it?
Who knows? No one was there to. Everyone's got their own opinion.
Brilliant.
That's why you're all standing there. Everyone's got their own opinion. You
Brilliant.
can ask every person here, they've probably got a different answer.
Brilliant. If you see a piece of crap on the floor, yeah, you're not going to be like, wow, that's been there for millions of years and it just happened by itself. You're going to assume, because we're living in London, especially in London, when we see some feces on the floor, immediately you know there's a dog there. Yeah, immediately. And you're looking around like, there's a fine here, where's Plod? Yeah, you got some plods over there. Why aren't they doing anything about this? Yeah? So when you look at that, immediately, Liam, you tap into something called logic. Yeah? And with logic, you're like, okay, I don't have to have seen the dog to know that a dog went past, because I have a type of knowledge called rationality. Yeah, I can...
Comparing the planet to a bit of dog shit.
No, it's an analogy to say that if you see something and you don't know how it is, you use your rationality to come to a conclusion. And that conclusion...
That's just a simple... It's not as simple as that. The argument you're trying to give of obviously being creating planet and life is not as simple as a normal reaction of someone going to the toilet. You can't. It's like comparing that to where we went back to the car mechanic. Taking the shit is not the same as building a car. Do you know what I mean? It's not.
I like it when you say it better than me.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? You can't compare. You can't really compare that. It's two different things. It's like.
Okay.
There's not one thing of. It's like people or dogs or fruit or anything. There isn't one of anything. There's multiple of everything.
All right.
Name one thing. There's only one of. There isn't. There's not one type of tree. There's not one type of grass.
There's one you.
There's one me, but then it's again. I think you're going a bit different. I think it's too.
One finger then. Your fingerprint is unlike any other finger on this planet.
What's ever been?
Yeah, even Ben.
I don't think so.
Every fingerprint is different.
What's ever been on this planet?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I can understand maybe you're set, but not one individual finger.
This one. The one that's used on IDs.
But you think that's that?
Yeah.
There's never been another thing like that ever in the existence of the Earth.
Yeah.
Since time ago.
Yeah. Because the way it forms, no scientist, no credible academic has come out and said 2 fingerprints could have been the same. And that's why you've got high security facilities in this country, MI6 and all that actually rely on the fingerprint.
Yeah.
You've got passports that use that as an identity to come into a country and out of a country. And you know how some countries are very security conscious. One finger is enough. So even if there was a little bit, Liam, of leeway saying, you know what, 2 people could be alive at this moment with the same fingerprint.
I've actually had this experience.
Really?
Yeah, I went to Boston. I go to America once a year. I've got family in America. I can't fly direct. So I have to change over to get through customs.
Yeah.
So went through Boston. I went through. My father went through. Put his fingerprint down. Okay. They've gone out of his passport. He's gone to grab his passport. Said, no, wait there. We got taken into a room with all other people. 3 hours later, they called us up and they said, oh, we had a glitch with our machine. They thought you was a convict. My father was a convict. fingerprints going.
Yeah,
But I'm not saying they was obviously an identical match,
Yeah,
but I just think it's
It's a machine.
there's no way you can put this. Our short amount of time we've been here, I know you're saying that everyone is different, I understand
Yeah.
that, but I still think there's been a lot of human beings on this planet. There's no way to say that finger there's never been another one like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So you're saying according to your kind of rationality,
Yeah.
and you're welcome to do that. I mean, if evidence does arise, it will be interesting.
Oh yeah, no, it's just obviously
Yeah.
that I do believe obviously that they are obviously all different.
Unique, yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
but I think maybe is there not been another? There's been so many time has been so long.
But think about it this way, Liam. Why is it that no one in history ever has made that claim before? We've got books, we've got testimony, we've found genetic data and all that. Nobody's ever made the claim that two people have the same identical fingerprint. But coming back to the point, so we're saying that, okay, there's an existence, yeah? We don't want to say who. However, if this existence created everything and there's power in the universe, then he should be all powerful, obviously, because he's created everything. And there's time, then he's outside time, yeah? And even our understanding, Liam, what you have to realize is just because you create, let's just say you assemble a car, that doesn't mean that you're now part of the car or you're similar to a car. Now, imagine if I was to give a crude example of two cars conversing with each other. One goes to another one, you never guess who created me. It's like, ooh, he's got arms. It's like, what? Well, they're like wheels and stuff. Nah, they're arms, they're made from flesh. He's like, what the hell is flesh? Rubber. I just go, well, how does he move then? Nah, he does it in a bipedal way. It's like, by what? What does he eat or drink? What type of petrol? Like, is it leaded or unleaded? And none of that, man. He has burgers. He has carbs. It's like, he has carb. You're making that up. Carbs. He's got the word car in it. Is it one of our lot? No, it's not. The only thing that's similar is the name. Carbs. Something totally different. It's all right. I don't believe this. It doesn't make sense. So what was his arms like? What's it made from? Metal. So point that I'm trying to say is you creating a VCR, you creating a DVD player or iPod or iPad doesn't mean that you have to be the same as the creation. So it's the same, Leo, that when you believe that everything, the way it is, how complex it is, how everything matches and complements each other. When you look at a peacock, when you look at a bewick swan, yeah, when you look at the echolocators, the ultrasound, the echolocators in the bat, yeah, the blood pressure control system in the neck of a giraffe, yeah, the homing instincts, that of a pigeon. And you look at these things, how is it a pigeon knows to go home? Like, who's put these things in place? And Liam, when you look at, even when a duckling is born and a chick is born, somebody actually did this experiment. He said when a hen laid eggs and a duck laid eggs, I switched some of them around. And I noticed that when the mother duck, yeah, took all of her children and jumped into the pond, all of them jumped in except the chicklet. The chicklet stood on the side and started chirping, yeah? And then vice versa, yeah? So the question is, where is this understanding coming from? Yeah, a spider, when it's born, is able to construct such an elaborate, such an amazingly architecturally sound house. My question again, Liam, is to associate all of this to chance and mere happenings. It's something that we're not being honest with ourselves about. Yes, by all means, we can discuss and we can debate about which religion is the correct religion. But to assume and to promulgate and to come to this conclusion that it all came by itself, by mere chance, but you think it's a bit of a push.
I do and I don't. It's the religion. It's the same question that's been asked since the dawn of time. What are we? How did this happen? No one knows. Everyone has their own beliefs. Like I said before, you can ask all these different people here, they will have a different answer. But it's...
let me give you, like, you're wearing, what shoes are you wearing? Nike, yeah? Yeah, Nike shoes. I'm wearing Nike as well. Now, when you went to the shop, there were, am I exaggerating when I say 50 types of trainers there? But out of those 50 trainers, Liam, what you did was, you were like, okay, what goes most with my outfit? what goes well with my style. In other words, what you're doing in that situation, Liam, is you're not being overwhelmed with choice, and you're not leaving that shop with your old flappy shoes. You know, sometimes when they get ripped, they start talking, innit? They got holes in it, air conditioning. Same when you go to get a shampoo. Yeah, there's like 20 different types of shampoo. But you never go, nah, forget it. Like, you go there, you read the back, you do your research to see which one makes the most sense. Yeah, there's 5 different types of doctors. All right, but let me see, because this is my health. I have to take time out to see. Now, Liam, if you've got so many people giving an answer, what you should be doing is you should be going to those people and hearing them out and saying, let me compare these now. Let me see which is logically sound. Because if a God has created me, Liam, then the one that makes most sense surely is the truth. Because he's now sent something. Now, again, what makes most sense? We can discuss that. And this is why I would say, Liam, I would say come every week. Have discussions. You could even go online and you can listen. It's on every Sunday. Every Sunday, there's different circles here. Because this, Liam, you said yourself, this is something that this has been discussed for millennia. In fact, Justin Barrett, he's done an Oxford study in which he did a study of kids that were uninterrupted or uninterfered with adults, and he noticed that even they incline towards believing in a single creator. Olivera Petrovich, she did a study. She concluded the same thing. And these are studies done by people that are unaffected by social conditioning. We are inclined towards believing in a creator, which again makes most sense. If God has sent us here, surely there needs to be some sort of gravitation. We're more gravitated towards believing every evidence around you points towards a creator. You look at a phone, creator, tree, seed, someone's planted that seed, these fences, that policeman, that newspaper, that can you're holding in your hand, everything around you has a designer. But then the question would be,
just a quick part you said about the seed, about someone planting the seed. Sometimes that can happen naturally.
Of course.
A tree produces another tree, and so on and so on and so on. Ever since the thing, but I know you're saying obviously the trees had to be not created, but sort of bred in to make another tree. But then it's the same thing. There was a planet was once here, and it wasn't here before that. So it's sort of and life is trying to take hold of itself or something. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
I guess so.
Like say for instance a tree, it's a living thing.
Yeah.
It isn't like someone probably did plant that tree, but not all trees were planted by a person, like a forest.
I agree with you.
Like a forest, they expanded themselves. Or like the Amazon jungle. The Amazon jungle weren't always a jungle. It was once a thriving area of land where people lived.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Yeah, it was. They proved it. Where they've been deforesting so much of the Amazon, they've been finding ancient settlements and civilizations thousands of years ago.
Yeah, that's crazy.
One of the Spanish explorers in the 1500s, they went through the Amazon, and they said there was thousands and thousands, millions of people living there at one time. But then the Europeans gave them measles, they all died off.
Yeah, exactly.
When they come back.
There's jackets of smallpox, yeah. But the thing with that is, because I've studied plants and flowers as well, Liam, and there's 2 ways of seed dispersal. In fact, there's multiple ways. There's wind, there's water, birds, and animals. Yeah, these are the 4 ways of common ways of seed dispersal. But again, 2 of these are who, and 2 of these are what. Yeah, the wind and the water are what, and the humans and the animals are who. Yeah, so again, it didn't happen by itself. It happened by something.
Nature.
Yeah, nature, again, it's still something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like that comparison of saying it happened by itself.
You can't really call it something. It's more of
it's wind, isn't it?
Yeah, but you can't just call. Yeah, nature. Yeah, it's wind is a thing.
Yeah.
Nature is you can't put nature down to one thing. Nature is a group, a body of
Forces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's again my point of what what if them number of forces, like fire, for instance, of fire, you have to have the right conditions to make fire.
Yes.
Right? You need fuel, air, and spark. That's the three main things to make fire. So
Oxygen as well, yeah.
Yeah, so that fuel, air, fire.
Ah, air. Okay, yeah.
Okay, so that's the three things you need: fuel, air, and spark. So what if them three things are not them exact three things, but them sort of other three things that make us, the planet, the world, the universe, them conditions of nature, or it's hard to put into words, but it's like you need the right resources, the right conditions.
Yes.
Something like us, a miracle of life or the planet is born as such, same as like a tree. The seed, first the seed needs to fall, then it needs to be planted, then it grows. It's like life. You're born, you live, you die.
Yeah.
It's the three things. It's like, that's
But you've made a very good point. You said that just for fire to exist, you need three conditions that are happening.
Equally balanced.
Yeah, that they have some sort of presence or balance. Yeah. So that's when it comes to fire. When it comes to human beings, the conditions are more stringent. There's more things that have to be done. Now the thing is, look, if you see maybe one part on the floor, Liam, yeah, you go maybe like a screw or something.
Yeah.
Like, all right, that could have just fallen off the shelf. But when you see a screw that's been attached to something else, you're like, somebody's actually drilled that in and attached it to that.
Yeah.
Now, the more complicated it becomes, Liam, the more you're like, this is becoming too coincidental now for me to assume that all of these parts were assembled in the correct position for this person or this thing to exist. Do you see?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. It's like...
So I would say that actually proves the argument of design, that when you look at a human being and you look at how intricate a human being is, and how, for example, even look at like your hair on your head, that grows very fast. But have you ever imagined that even your eyelashes, yeah, or eyebrows, if they grew at the same rate as your hair, you'd have to go to the barbers and get a trim for your eyelashes as well. So everything.
You're saying about the design, and obviously, like you said, about the spider and things like that. I understand that, but it's again one of them things. No one knows the answer. You can't sit there and say that you know that is the answer.
But what I can say, Liam, is the most probable and logical answer is the Creator. And I would ask you, what would you say is a more logical and credible answer than that?
I'm not an academic in any sort
You
of
don't
way.
have to be.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but it's like everyone has their own opinion. I believe that it's just the conditions are right, and we're just. I don't question life too much. I just try and focus about it.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I just don't. It doesn't concern me. I do think about it. I think why are we here? What's the meaning of life? Things like that. But then.
There's two things.
You shouldn't really waste your life thinking about that. That's like anyone you can believe what you want to believe. That's got nothing to do with me. With all these other people with. That's not my concern as such. I believe that you can believe or say or whatever, you can do whatever you want to do. It doesn't have any concern unless it obviously harms or affects other people. Then it obviously is a problem. But other than that, it doesn't. Everyone should be more worried about living their life to the best they can be.
Let me give you an example, Liam. If you're living your life here, yeah, and you're just going about your business, being a good citizen, not harming people, someone puts a bag on your head and then takes you away and then sticks you on a train somewhere, yeah, and takes it off, and you're given nice food. What's going to be the first question that comes to you? You're not going to say, you know what, forget why I'm here, the food is nice, I'm going to enjoy myself, it's tasty, forget about that, it's not important, I need to worry about enjoying myself on this train. And somebody goes, do you know where you're going? It's not important. When are you going to get off? I just look. Everyone just doing their thing. Let everyone do their thing. Like I'm not here to. That's fine. But
Do you know what? You've been doing this a long time, isn't you? You adapt quick. You adapt to the situations quick.
it's
I
because,
know what you're saying. Like,
it's because I'm going to be honest with you, Liam. Like, look at me. I'm a handsome guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm young. We're both young.
Yeah.
But think about it. This is a Sunday. I work Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
I'm here. Look, I'm not. Am I forcing something upon you? Am I being aggressive?
No. Listen, if you was, I wouldn't be here.
You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, Liam, born in this country, I know about this sort of stuff. I love it here. But the thing is, I'm still here, Liam, spending time discussing this with you. If I wasn't sure about it, I wouldn't be here wasting your time. In fact, I would consider it a disrespect that if you ask me something and I give you a fluffy answer, I'm calling you towards something and I can't answer your question, I would actually say it's disrespectful to you. I don't have to apologize to you. Because I'm telling you that this is what I'm putting forward and this is very important and this is something that needs to be looked into. So that's why, Liam, I think out of respect for the person I'm speaking to, I need to read up on this. And I do read up on this stuff because I think it is very important. So that's the example of why we're here. And you raised another good point as well, that these questions are asked and you don't think about it too much. Yeah, here's another one. The thing is, if you look at majority of the people on this planet, Liam, in fact, the fastest growing religion is Islam. People with the most adherents are Christianity. The oldest one is Hinduism. The thing, Liam, is, and it's this, that majority of the people do believe in a God. You got people that have this innate disposition. However, people are still searching. And you know what? Just looking at too many people, I believe this, I believe that. Look, no one's asking you to force your belief on anybody. What they are asking you is the least, if there is a God and there is a heaven and a hell and you're going to be asked about this, the least Liam should be that you're able to say, you know what, I did look into it, I did hear everybody out, I did use my rationality and I didn't dismiss it. I worked hard, yes I worked, but I also understood and dialogued with people as well. Do you see? So what I would then say to you, Liam, is this. You're going to have Christians here, you're going to get Jews here, you're going to get people of other faiths. But I'm going to make certain claims, and even when you go home, you don't want to come here, no problem. Or you do want to come here, you want to listen to other people, no problem. You want to speak to somebody else, you want to buy a book, you do that. But I'm going to make a few claims now, Liam. That makes Islam different and unique compared to all other religions. And you're welcome to challenge me whenever you want, with whatever you want. First thing is this. If something comes from God, Liam, and it's a revelation, surely that revelation, if there's a book with words of God, surely it should be free from human interference. You can't just dip in there, change stuff, move stuff about, and then people are saying, you know what, it's been changed, but let's go with the message. No. The book has to be preserved because it's from God. And you tell him...
Did God write the book?
No, God, it's the word of God, and then it was compiled into a book. So that's going to be one of my arguments.
By people. But how do you know that? How do you know for certain there isn't corruption in it? I'm not saying there is.
No, of course.
But
No,
I'm saying,
it's
like,
a valid...
how do you know there isn't? Like I said, it's been comprised on how many thousands of people have put their contribution into the book.
100%.
Exactly. So it's more of...
You're right, I agree with you.
Yeah, it's exactly, but it's like...
But let me answer that, because the Quran's different. I'm going to tell you how. The Old Testament, when it was revealed, Liam, it had to be copied down. Now, I don't know if you remember, how old are you? 25. You're a bit younger than me. When I was at school, we'd write our essay out and then we'd have to copy out again. For display purposes. You know, when it goes on display and that. So when we do it on display, what happens is sometimes, Liam, when I would copy stuff down, if two sentences ended with the same word, my eye would automatically skip a line. Or if there's like 2-3 words that are similar in like 3-4 lines, you miss certain chunks out. Now, Bart Ehrman calls this technique parablepsis, or homoitelioton, which just means that you're missing chunks. That applies, Liam, to the Old Testament and the New Testament. Why? Because they were, like you've articulated, it was written down. Now the Quran was different, because the Quran, when it was revealed by speech, and it was memorized. So primarily, whilst the other books, they were written and they were paper based, the Quran on the other hand was memorized. And because the Quran was memorized, that's how it was passed on. Now, within the life of the Prophet, it was also written down, but the primary way of preserving it was memory. Now, if you don't believe me, Liam, you can Google this, YouTube this. There are children as young as 3 and 4 that have memorized the entire Quran. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
In fact, this was discovered last year. A little kid, 3-4 years old, he memorized the whole book. But generally speaking, children normally memorize by